It's Wednesday, October 8th.
This is The Warning.
America is in a state of collapse. The republic is falling apart. The evidence of this is what occurred in the United States Senate yesterday. It was shocking, it was farcical, but in the end, more than anything, what it demonstrated was the cancerous state of the American Republic. For instance, here.
They are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
We're here.
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein?
What about this?
This is supposed to be an oversight hearing.
Oversight?
Excuse me, you can attack me after my time is over.
You've attacked all of us, including President Trump, for your entire career.
You can attack me later, and I know you've got plenty of canned attacks. We've heard them all day today.
Canned attacks on you?
This is supposed to be...
No one needs a canned attack on you.
Regular order, Madam Chair. I'm trying to speak.
And this amazingness.
I think it's valuable that the American people get a sense of what you've refused to answer today. So these are just some of the questions you refused to answer, or have answered with personal attacks on members of this committee. You were asked whether you consulted with career ethics lawyers, as you promised you would do during your nomination hearing, when you approved the president receiving a $400 million gift from the Qataris. You refused to answer that question. You were asked who or what role you may have played, or who played the role in asking that Trump's name be flagged in any of the Epstein documents gathered by the FBI. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman kept the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked whether Holman paid taxes on the $50,000 bribe money. You refused to answer that question. You were asked, did career prosecutors find insufficient evidence to charge James Comey? You refused to answer that question. You were asked, how are military strikes on these boats in the Caribbean legal? And you refused to even answer that question.
Senator Adam Schiff of California documented the questions that the belligerent, incompetent, absolutely corrupt former Qatari lobbyist, registered foreign agent Pam Bondi refused to answer. She refuses to detail the absolute disgusting corruption of the Trump thug, Tom Homan, who took $50,000 in a bag. Here's Kristi Noem standing on a roof of the Portland war zone. Does it look like a war to you? Does it look like there's hand-to-hand combat occurring, as Stephen Miller said? Stephen Miller, in this interview, just enunciated the philosophy of the Nazis and the assumption of their dictatorial power, plenary powers.
Well, the administration filed an appeal this morning with the Ninth Circuit. I would note the administration won an identical case in the Ninth Circuit just a few months ago with respect to the federalizing of the California National Guard. Under Title 10 of the U.S. Code, the president has plenary authority.
Stephen Miller has announced his hatred for half the country, called dissent terrorism, and called the dissenter against the Trump obscenities terrorists. These are Texas National Guard troops arriving in the land of Lincoln, one state invading another. There is no reason for this other than for politics, other than for an assertion of dominance. This is an abuse of power without precedent. And with each step, Donald Trump instigates more violence, more chaos. Pam Bondi isn't just a disgrace. She's a disgrace without grace, without class. The lying, skanky, bleached blonde Florida prosecutor is dishonest. She's extreme. She is filled and flushed with power. And boy, oh boy, does she aim to abuse it. People around Trump are calling for the United States military to be used to kill American citizens, to crush dissent in the land of the free. It's not in a movie. It's happening right now. The constitutional order, the American civilization, the most advanced in the history of humanity, is falling apart. This moment is one where, in a government of the people, by the people, for the people, elected officials, public servants, have turned not just against the people, not just against their country and its flag, and the ideas that brought it to life. They've turned against decency. They have turned against patriotism. They are a gang, and they are hard at work. And what they're working to do is to burn down the American Republic. The greatest tragedy in all of American history was the indifference of a free people to a coup on January 6th of 2021, because the lesson that was absorbed by the man who incited the coup is that I'm strong enough to take everything from these people who are weak enough to let me take it. And his absorption of that lesson is the singularly most dangerous thing a fascist could conceivably come to believe about the people that he seeks to dominate. Because now, seeing nothing but softness and weakness, Donald Trump is ready to make his move. With real guns, with real tanks, with real bullets, and with real helicopters. The enemy is concocted from his imagination. But let's be clear, the enemy has a name. It's the American people. And the person who has declared the American people their enemy is the President of the United States. And some people say we're not in a crisis. And other people say the crisis is what's happening in academia at the universities. Some of those people now run powerful newsrooms. And those people, trust me, don't want you to know, don't want you to see what's happening all around you. What it is precisely that it is you're losing. Breath by breath, minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. This is The Warning.
I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning. I invite you to join this community where I promise to be honest, blunt, and direct about what is happening in this country. America is in crisis. Follow and subscribe to this channel and on Substack. Thank you.